حلقة النقاش القادمة تحت عنوان المرأة في مجال الأمن السيبراني. راح تدير هذه الحلقة النقاشية مدير إدارة أمن المعلومات في البنك المركزي العماني السيدة نهلة AlBalushi، وأيضا راح تصاحبها في هذه الحلقة النقاشية الدكتورة ريم فرج الشمري رئيس فريق أمن المعلومات بشركة نفط الكويت، ومسس ناتاليا سباين مدير المركز الأمني السيبراني مركز الاستجابة للحوادث المعلوماتية بجمهورية مالدوفا، وأيضا مسس ميريام هاو مستشار أمن المعلومات في شركة BAE للأنظمة. فليتفضلون.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. First, I would like to thank my honored guests to be part of this panel. I'm very proud to see such ladies in the information security field. I'll just give a brief introduction about my panelists and the topic that we are going to discuss. First, Ms. Miriam Howe. Ms. Miriam is one of BAE Applied Intelligence most senior female security consultants. She has experience helping UK government, defense, and policing organizations to protect their data and themselves against cyber attacks. One of the things that I wanted to say about Miriam, Miriam started a cybersecurity group within BAE, which is meant to help women to raise in the information security field. My next panelist is Ms. Natalia Spînu. Natalia is heading the CERT team, which is Computer Emergency Response Team of Moldova. Natalia handled cybersecurity incidents, and under her leadership, she's very active with the national cybersecurity development processes, including cybersecurity program and policy development, cybersecurity awareness. Last but not least, Dr. Riem Al-Shammari. Dr. Riem is a team leader, information security at Kuwait Oil Company. Dr. Riem is chairperson of K Company's Cybersecurity Committee, a forum that consists of 10 oil companies within Kuwait oil sector. I had to come to know from Dr. Riem that she started a group again with regard to ladies within information security field, and she's in the process, women in the Middle East, and she's trying to formalize that. First, let me introduce the topic of our discussion. What we are trying to discuss is women in cybersecurity and the gap between, female and male involvement within the field. The idea here, this session should highlight the role of women in cybersecurity and examine the reasons behind their reluctance to join the field. And we will try to find solutions on how we can improve that and help other women to join the sector. So I'll start with some little statistics which I have collected. There is a report which is already published regarding this, and that report was published back in 2013. The report says that only 11% of the workforce, cybersecurity workforce, is only women. The rest is male. So I also managed to find some more information regarding the same research, and it says that within quarter 4, which is this quarter, there is a new report which will come out. But again, the percentage didn't change much. It is raised to 20%, but we are expecting much more. I'll start my questions with Miriam, as she's the first one here. Miriam, from your perspective, why do you think less women are attracted to the cybersecurity world?
So, as you mentioned, there are several industries that have a low proportion of women, cybersecurity is one of them. And I think we have to look back at the pipeline, back into the education system, which is where students are making their choices, which will ultimately determine their career choices. So let's look at the proportion of girls that are choosing to study STEM subjects, so science, technology, engineering and maths, and the proportion of take-up by girls is quite low in schools, and obviously that means that there'll be fewer students at university who are female that are taking those subjects, and so by the time it comes to a recruitment from a talent pool, that talent pool has a very low proportion of women in that. So we need to look back at the take-up of those studies at schools. I think there are a number of initiatives, certainly in the Middle East and in the UK as well, where government is really trying to encourage the take-up of STEM subjects. That's a good thing. In industry, we also, certainly at BAE, try and reach out to schools and articulate what cybersecurity is as a career. It's a great career. It should sell itself. It's a fascinating industry to be in. So we try and reach out to schools and put that on their radar and try and encourage them to take up STEM subjects at schools.
Great, thank you. Natalie, just a question regarding why you think that women leave early, like even if they join this sector, they don't feel comfortable being in the information security field.
Thank you very much. Before I will answer to your question, I want to thank you very much to Badar from Oman for inviting me, and I'm so honored to be in this summit. And it's my first time I was asked to speak about this subject. Also, being in this kind of conference, usually I feel so alone, and really I'm so happy to see so many women in this room, and especially to talk about this subject. I think very important. Not just because I'm a woman, but I think we have to fight these cyber threats. It's a cyber war, and we have to bring more women here and to fight together with the men with all these challenges and all these problems. Why they're leaving? You know, it's really very hard question, and you say that the statistic 10 or 11% in Moldova, maybe I'm the only one, so we are 3 million populations, but when it comes to cybersecurity, if you say Moldova, they will for sure know Natalia. And there are not so many women, and I think the challenge are, because it's not an easy job. Being a woman and to have a career and a family, it's not easy at all. And also, it's a lot of, you have to do a lot of auto-education, you know. Myself, I've started with business administration, I continued in international relations, and now after I did computer science, and now I'm doing a lot of Cisco courses, and you have to go through so many studies if you want to be on the top, because all these threats are evolving and they're becoming so complex, and if you want to help your country, if you want to help your company, you have to do a lot of studies, and it's not easy. And maybe it's a myth, but we have to pack this cyber very beautiful and to sell to women. Yes. And I was thinking as an idea, maybe we can promote as a banner in the malls, in airports, you know, it's like beautiful, something beautiful. Because security is really very complicated. When it comes to cybersecurity, it's even more complicated, and we have to convince them that it's not so complicated, and just take it easy, you know, like step by step. So they're leaving also because they, you know, having a family, it's not easy to have the right balance. For example, my family, I'm so grateful to them. I'm never home, you know.
Yes.
So it's all the time
I think
traveling.
we all face the same challenge. Yes. Okay, Dr. Miriam, from your perspective, we work like in different regions. Do you think that this problem is like across the globe, or you think it is something related to the Middle East area? We have Miriam, who works in the UK. We have Natalie, who works in Moldova, and you work in Kuwait. I work in Oman. So do you think it's a global problem, or it is related to specific area?
Assalamu alaikum. Well, first I would like to say it's relatively matter, because if you measure it from the perspective of Is it a global issue having the cybersecurity women scarcity? Yes, it's a global, and it's being defined by the researchers. And maybe I add to Natalie's point when she said, why do they leave early? It's a very challenging and brilliant industry. It's very, actually, it's one of the, we love it, you know, it's one of the challenging and full of fun, we can say that, but sometimes it becomes so much overwhelming, especially if you have your social commitment and if you don't have the ecosystem supporting you at the back, then you will find your women in cybersecurity leave early. So this is one of the challenges that in order for you to sustain your availability in this challenging industry is to have an ecosystem. And when I say ecosystems, and this is the secret ingredient in us shining in the cybersecurity, is to have a complete and integrated ecosystem starting from your kids at home who really become proud of you, actually give you best wishes in your lectures or in your challenges at work, up to your husband, your family, mothers, of course, supporting us at the background, I was telling the ladies, being our backup mom whenever we are abroad or having duty trips. Then ending up with our employers. So in KOC, Kuwait Oil Company, we have a very supportive environment where women in leadership is proving themselves and achievements and just having their unique fingerprints in Kuwait Oil Company and all the levels from the vice presidents up to team leaders and managers as well. So it's a very challenging one. And for Middle East, I have a very interesting adab here. Before I come to this panel discussion, I thought, why am I presenting only myself? As you have mentioned, I'm one of the co-founders. I did not establish this forum by myself. We have a group of ladies, brilliant ladies in security in the Middle East. We have formulated a cybersecurity woman for the Middle East. And I said, instead of me sitting here representing only Reem, I would like also to do a very quick survey. So I surveyed their viewpoints on these issues, and they have all let's say they have all incorporated the same challenges, and we have all one voice. But the main actually interesting thing that they have all agreed with me that we don't have one of the challenges that our fellow women in the other global entities is the discrimination in salaries. In Alhamdulillah, GCCs and Middle East, we are equal to men when it comes to salaries, and we don't have the discriminancy in salaries, or it was even in pushing us to lead. Only your efficiency and your productivity will prove yourself to take that leadership.
Okay, great. I think she started with one of the questions I'd like to ask Miriam. Dr. Reem, she touched upon few points regarding how we can overcome this problem, like such as the support of the family, support of the employer, which is really important. They need to understand the nature of like women. Yes, we can work hard, but at some point we do have families, we do have kids. So we need to have a balance. So anything else that can help to overcome these problems?
Yes, so thank you. So the Women in Cybersecurity group that we run within BE Systems in the UK, we're very focused on recruitment and retention of women. And the one thing that I think we absolutely need, and really does help in the situation, is you do need the data. So we do a lot of data analysis on our own, on our own cohort and the percentage of women. We do see that there are fewer women in more senior roles. So when it comes to women leaving the business, we have to do exit interviews. We have to interview women when they're leaving the business. We should interview everyone when they're leaving the business and actually collect the data that enables us to see whether there are systematic reasons why they leave the business. Are they having a bad experience? Are they finding it difficult to succeed in their roles? There's plenty of other reasons why they might be leaving. They might be leaving to have a family, in which case, have we set up the system so that they can easily return back to work? They might be leaving because they're moving into a more expanded role, an expanded set of responsibilities. But unless we conduct exit interviews and unless we understand the reasons why they're leaving, we're not really in a position to try and correct them if there are systematic reasons. The other thing I would say, and this is another piece of data analysis really, is that I think Natalia mentioned that it's quite a complicated role, and I think that it is complicated, and we do have to work quite hard to keep on top of the very complex challenge of cybersecurity. But I think that actually works against us a bit. I think cybersecurity is perceived to be very complicated, very technical. And I think that potentially turns people off. And especially when we write job specifications, the specifications can be very overly technical. They can really focus on the technical requirements of the job. They can really be very binary about how much experience is required. And so actually we might end up limiting the number of applicants to the role. We'd actually really like them to apply, and then they learn on the job, because we all learn a lot on the job. We all have to train and develop. So two things: we need to get feedback on the way that we're describing our job roles, test it with the target applicants. We regularly test our job applicants with students, get feedback. We have been told that some of our roles are intimidatingly technical, and that's not the way we want to come across. We want to encourage people into the roles and to develop into that. And then similarly, if we need to be able to set up a business environment where they are encouraged to ask questions, encouraged to learn, they're not considered that they don't add value when they're very inexperienced. They need to learn on the job, and that's something that a business culture should be set up to do.
Interesting. Natalie, at the beginning, Miriam mentioned something regarding the education system. And now I think she touched upon a few things related to the, job specification, how we make it attractive. Whom do you think should take that responsibility of, selling the idea of women working in cybersecurity? Because in my opinion, I feel like we should not restrict ourselves to a specific skill set. Like cybersecurity, you don't need really to be, let's say, a programmer. You can have some other skill sets, like such as analysis, as Miriam mentioned. So data analysis is important. So is it the home responsibility, government responsibility? Whom you think should be responsible for that?
Thank you very much for your question. Indeed, education is so important. And I mean, here we don't have only a gender gap, but I think we have education gap with skills, because cybersecurity came just became for a few years very hot topic, because technology and internet was invented not for, it came just as a technology, not, and all these bad guys took advantage, and now we are having all these problems, and we have to think different, and we have to respond to all these challenges. And yes, you're right, education, for example, in schools, I don't know how many countries they have a curriculum in cybersecurity. So it's something that, as I mentioned at the beginning, it's just learning by doing, it's every day something you have to learn new. So what we are doing in Moldova, we are trying to bring all the stakeholders around the table and to discuss, because it's not someone's responsibility. It's not the case in cybersecurity. It's everyone's responsibility. And we respect the hygiene in the physical world, the same we have to respect these hygiene rules in the internet, and we have to start at a very early age. And I mean here not only to teach, civil servants or people who are dealing with IT, but we have to teach all of them, like how you behave in internet, which kind of websites you access, and how we have seen the trends according to the security reports. All these threats are moving to our mobile phones, and how many have an antivirus on its own mobile phone, how many parents are monitoring their kids, which kind of information they are accessing, or with whom they are talking. It's really very complicated, and I think we have to start from a very early age at school to educate them. We have to have curriculum at university, and I mean cybersecurity. It's as you just said, Mary. It's not only you need to code, you need to to do a program. It's so many. There are so many opportunities. We need because we need policy, we need strategy, we need as a manager. I don't consider myself a programmist or an IT girl. But I love my work because I put all people around the table, because it's so important them to talk. And also there is another, IT people, they think different, and also they live in a different world, So sometimes just to put all these people around the table and just to talk and see how can we handle this issue and how can we move forward. You know, I think I'm optimistic, and I think after this 2 days presentation, very good presentation, we hear that there are so many threats, there are some solutions, but we all face the same challenges, and we are just have different responsibility. So that's why we need to come all together, and we just have to think how to address it, and only through education. I mean here not only the cyber curriculum, but also capacity building and this kind of events, you know, sharing information is so important, and especially in this field. Otherwise you cannot fight isolated in a country or in your office. So I think it's exactly everyone's responsibility, not only someone's to blame.
Thank you. Dr. Reem, I was trying to research about if there are any women in cybersecurity groups across the globe. Most of the groups that I have found are, let's say, based in the States, at least 2, 3, which I found. I came to know through preparing for this session that Miriam initiated a group within BAE. And then I came to know that Dr. Reem is working on a group for women in cybersecurity, let's say in Middle East, or I don't know what is the scope. If you can tell us more about the group.
Okay, we have started this group back in April when we have a gathering of ladies in CISOs, and there was an award ceremony under the MISA gala, and we came with the initiation or initiative of Mr. Ahmed Bek, who really requested us together in a side tabletop discussion, round table. So we have set together all the ladies, we have networked, and after that gala, we started to connect, and we started formalizing our own WhatsApp group, then started sharing information, as Natalia said, and exchanging the information. We saw the added benefit of that. So we have, our members has started growing more and more, and we have our linked groups being established. And once we have that one established for the Middle East, having members grown up so rapidly from Egypt, all the Arab countries, and we have the rule in you don't have to be Arabic in order to join. If you are residing within the Middle East region, then and you're experiencing the information security as your field, then you're welcome. And of course, if you are a woman. So it was very interesting to see all these brilliant ladies in one forum where we can exchange data, and we're actually having our roadmap to have more initiatives and have 9 streams. Recently, we have done a meeting discussing the 9 streams that we can serve our communities. And as Natalia said, it's everyone's responsibility to market cybersecurity. And if we cannot add a value, then why we are here? And this is what we do, even in the oil sector. As the oil sector, we have a commitment to our community. And one of these 2040 strategy is to serve our community. And that's why through our K Companies Cybersecurity Committee, which is compounded of 10 oil companies that really owns the whole oil sector in Kuwait, we have started initiatives for that to serve our Kuwait and our even PAIT, which is universities education, started trying to develop some programs for cybersecurity and in trying to inject it through these universities.
But then your program is not concerned with only women in cybersecurity within the oil industry. It is all across, yeah?
We're serving the whole community, yes. And we're trying to actually target our new generations. Instead of having generations that have no cybersecurity background, we thought, we better have the seeds implanted in these universities and colleges. So we have started our communications with these academic entities in order for us to develop the cybersecurity platforms. And we have initiated with Bayit a formal committee, advisory committee for that one. University of Kuwait, we have also initiated that one. And we're trying as much as we can to leave a good print to serve our community in order to raise the educations. Even sometimes one of teachers in my children's school approached me and say, is that okay that you can come and give us a cybersecurity lecture? And I welcome that, because although these young generations seems, let's say, innocent, but they are much, much smarter than we think, and they will be our next cyber army generations if we plant the right seeds in them. And with the time that we're facing now, especially in our region, due to the geographical challenges, due to the wealth challenges, we are being targeted. And that's why we need to focus on this new generation, have the right seeds in them in order for us to gain what we have seeded at a later stage.
Great. Thank you very much. I have one last question, but then I thought why I should ask this question. My question was like, do you have any examples of women in leadership within the cybersecurity arena? But then I thought I have such great figures, so why I should ask this question? Anyway, I'll just have a recap of what we went through. I would like us to get out of this session with some takeaways and few things to implement. So one of the key points that we discussed is being part of such events. It's not enough to be just someone who is attending a conference. You should take the lead and think of how you can be part of, being a speaker, being part of a panel. It's a bit challenging, but I think it's very important to try your best and overcome your kind of challenges and be part of it. So this is one. The second thing, as we have seen, and by the way, we agreed that we need to talk about this, having such groups. We will discuss later on how we can improve on that and how we can increase the visibility of such groups across the globe. Raising awareness of cybersecurity among kids, maybe, as Dr. Reem mentioned, she went and she's a part of giving some sessions to school kids. Education system is very important. We should look at how we can talk to universities, how they can think of enabling the career for ladies. I know it is very challenging. Sometimes it is kind of a non-stop job, okay? But then it is interesting. This is what I can say. We all have families, we have kids, and we still balance between all that. So I'll leave this session with maybe a small note from each one of you. If you would like to add something, please go ahead, Miriam.
Sure, thank you. I'm glad you mentioned about the events, actually. I think it's very, very important, on top of what we've already said, for women to see other women being successful in their roles and in fascinating, interesting careers. So I think it's very important as a business culture and for women individually to sort of step forward and be visible. And I think part of that is at events, actually. So I don't know about here in this region. Obviously, we've got a very, very good turnout of women here and a women-hosted panel. In the UK, we try and make continual efforts to make sure that part of the speaker lineup are women. And a lot of the time, there's maybe one or two women on the agenda. And that's really not because there aren't women in cybersecurity. There are. It's just that the habit is for men to step forward. Now, in BAE Systems, one of our very, very junior graduates decided to sponsor an event, put on an event that was entirely headlined by women. All the speakers for the entire day were women. And they weren't talking about being a woman. They were talking about their interesting and challenging careers in cybersecurity. And it was such a good illustration of the fact that the women can be role models, and it was very inspiring for everyone to see. So I'd like to kind of say having that visibility, whether it's through events, nominations, award ceremonies, I think is very, very important to raising that profile.
Thank you very much. What about you, Natalia? Anything?
I think, I don't know how it's in your region, but in Moldova, women tend to fight to each other, who is more beautiful, who is better, best dressed, best bag, and so on. And I think we have to take the men's example, to be solidar to each other, and together to build this, cyber women community or wherever, and to have a roadmap. How can we address these challenges and what can we do for society? And as you just said, Mary, there are many women in cybersecurity. We just have to make them visible and present to other girls and to educate them, not only to play with the dolls, but also to involve them already from the early age in this IT world, because IT is already part of everything in our life. If building a house, already you need to have IT skills, so it's nothing new. It's already there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Reem?
I would like to state that being the chairperson of the Cybersecurity Committee of 10 oil companies in Kuwait is a live example that women can lead and can really be a role model to everyone else. It's not really a miracle, or it's something that is impossible, but it can be doable, but it's very challenging and it's very demanding. And again, I highlight the ecosystem should be there and should be 24/7 with the business resilience, and you have business continuity plans for that as well, because we are at the end mothers and daughters, and we have social commitments towards our families, but this never prevents us from serving our country, and this is the main reason why we have this much initiatives. We're trying to serve the whole sector, the whole nation, and even the whole academia for planting these seeds. So women can do wonders, and we are already doing that. But we need to have a very stable resistance and keep the momentum there, because sometimes we become overwhelming. As I said, sometimes we feel the burnout. But again, the BCM, business continuity management plans, you need to trigger them on whenever is needed. One last thing that I would like to highlight is also, we need to be good examples. You don't have any barriers in the Middle East, alhamdulillah. I believe with our culture, with our religion, with our societies, they are all supporting us as women, and they believe in us. In Arabic we say, إحنا خوات الرجال. So yes, we are there to back up. Yes, we are there to lead, and we are here to support always. Sharing information is very brutal, and if the bad guys are always united, then the good guys should be doing so. And this was one of the points that we have raised with Maya and Natalie, that if we have a Middle East group and women, and they have in BAE, then maybe in Australia, we can combine them all together to have a universal women cybersecurity in the globe. And this is the only way we can beat the males society, and we can lead the whole cybersecurity, maybe, inshallah.
Thank you very much, and I would like to thank you all also for listening. Few questions. I'll take a couple of questions, and then I'll ask the panelists to answer them. So I'll take the questions first. And please let me know if your question is to a specific person or it's just general.
Hello, مرحبا. أنا وفاء النمري من PGI. شكرا أول إشي على هالمؤتمر الحلو، وأنا فخورة جدا بسماع صوت المرأة بهذا المؤتمر. كتير انبسطت بس عرفت عن الدكتورة ريم، بس حكت على الإيكو سيستم، وناتاليا إنه it's everyone's responsibility to market and to promote cyber security. وكمان مريم كتير انبسطت بس حكت على learning on the job, how important it is to learn on the job and to interview people and to really understand what are the reasons for them to leave. سؤالي هو ما هي الإجراءات اللي تتخذها الحكومة والتسهيلات والبرامج اللي بتعملها مشان تدعم المرأة في مجال السايبر سيكيورتي؟ هذا موضوع جدا مهم. بحب شوي أحكي عن خبرة PGI بهذا الموضوع. PGI بالUK عملت برنامج خصيصا للمرأة، جابت عدد من النساء اللي كانوا عاطلين عن العمل وتركوا شغلهم مشان يعتنوا بأولادهم وأطفالهم، ودخلتهم بسلك العمل ودربتهم. وهذا إشي كتير مهم، لأنه كان برنامج مدعوم من الحكومة، وهيك قدرت تتواصل وتدعم النساء في هذا الموضوع. فسؤالي كالتالي، إنه شو هي البرامج اللي اتخذتها الحكومة لدعم المرأة بهذا الموضوع، وشو الشركات سوت إنه تعمل كارير بلانينج للمرأة بهذا الموضوع؟ هذا الإشي كتير أنا واجهته بعملي كمرأة في عدة قطاعات، إنه career planning is absent for women and this is very important. شكرا.
في أي أسئلة ثانية على أساس ناخذ الأسئلة وبعدين نجاوب عليها؟ تفضلي.
يعطي أول شيء صباح الخير. وضحى القحص من مركز حالات الطوارئ، رئيسة الأنظمة والشبكات. أول شيء شكرا للحضور، وأنا سعيدة أني أنا أشوف الاجتماع النسائي والجانب الثاني من المرأة أنها تكون قيادية. وأنا عارفة أن أنتم مثلي لقيتوا تحديات كثيرة. بالنسبة عندنا يعني إلى الآن عفوا للرجال، يعني سامحونا، ما يتقبل الرجل أن المرأة تكون حتى قيادية في الجوانب الأمنية. يعني أنا هذا الصعوبة اللي أنا ألقاها، أن حتى القادة العسكريين يستغرب لما أدخل غرفة العمليات أو يلقى أن قائد الأنظمة امرأة. شنو هي الوسائل اللي نقدر يعني إحنا كنساء في القيادة أن إحنا نتجاوزها؟ هل هو الاجتماع الدوري؟ يعني دائما يتكلمونك على السايبر أتاك بس بالشركات أو في المنظمات التربوية اللي يظنون أن المرأة فيها، بس الحين إحنا دخلنا المجال الأمني والعسكري. شلون أنا يعني أتجاوز هذه المرحلة؟ شلون أنا أقضي على المشاكل اللي أنا ألقاها؟ أنا لما دردشت معاكم شوية قبل شوي ومع الأخوات، كلنا كنساء نلقى نفس المشكلة، الاعتراض على وجود المرأة، رغم أن احنا بدينا نشيل يعني بعض الجوانب، يعني على مثل ما قالت الدكتورة ريم، احنا خوات الرجال، احنا معاكم، احنا ما جينا عشان نشيلكم ولا جينا عشان ناخذ منصب، لا احنا نساعدكم. المجتمع تغير. المجتمع لما كان بسيط كان كل الحمل على المرأة، الحين لما تطور المجتمع صارت المرأة مشاركة، ففي فرق بين المشاركة وبين اني اخذ المكان. اتمنى من اجابة من كل واحدة فيكم. يعطيكم العافية.
تفضلي.
صباح الخير، أنا رودة الأمير علي، بروجرام أوفيسر بالمكتب الإقليمي العربي للاتحاد والاتصالات. الحقيقة I'm so proud of seeing such role models, and I just want to highlight that I2 is working to promote the ICT for women empowerment, and cybersecurity is part of the ICT education. We have many initiatives. One of them is Girls in ICT Day, is to promote the STEM education and to let women consider ICT as a career. And I would like to invite you to join this global movement and to let such role model to be visible for others. Okay, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We'll take a question from a male at least this time. The last question.
السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام. تفضل.
معكم محمد، مهندس في هيئة تنظيم الاتصالات في فريق الاستجابة طوارئ الحاسب الآلي the UAE CERT. I'm very glad to be here. I'm very also proud to see women that are currently leading in the information cybersecurity. But my question is, we have seen mostly boys who are currently in school, their life revolves around the computer. And maybe in later years they think about joining information security as a business, or not just a business, but somewhere where they study on. Your part as a leading woman in this industry, what is your advice for these students who are currently, let's say, girls, to join the information security instead of joining something that is very typical, maybe in graphic designing or business and in a general subject?
Thank you very much, Mohammed. Thank you. So I'll go first to Wafa's questions. Wafa is asking, it's two parts actually. First, anything that government does in terms of procedures to improve the status of women being in the cybersecurity, and the second part, career planning within companies. So, who would like to answer this? Miriam?
So I can talk about the UK.
Career, maybe?
So in the UK, the UK government runs a couple of programs. One's called Cyber First. There's also a Cyber First for girls. And they're very much aimed at what I talked about earlier, which is encouraging students and school children to look at cybersecurity as a possible career and take the subjects that will enable them to choose that as a career later. Cyber First and Cyber First for Girls is essentially exactly that. It's about bringing students together, giving them work to do, giving them education about cybersecurity as a career. And the Cyber First for Girls was specifically put together a little bit to address the last comment, which is that it can be seen as a bit of a boys' boys' world, a boys' game. So the idea of creating a space for female students to ask the questions, to get the experience without feeling that they are competing with the boys, was created specifically for that purpose. As I think I said earlier, a lot of the industry effort to connect, to give career advice and support is actually run from within industry in the UK, networks like the one that I run and connecting up with research groups and training programs.
Thank you. Dr. Reem, I think you wanted to say something?
Yeah, in addition to what Miriam has said, I believe we can, as from the educational part, again, we focus on the girls because it's not a boys' game, or it's not a boys' limited, let's say, area. As Einstein once said, learn the rules of the game and then play it better than everyone else. So it's not a gender issue, and I highlight in the Middle East we don't have this discrepancy between genders when it comes to cybersecurity. Actually, computer engineering, cybersecurity, information systems, it's all very much convenient to the nature of women because she doesn't have to go to the fields or do the man work or let's say the hardship of having a work field. So she's just sitting behind the computer, of course wearing her glasses to protect her sight, but again she can do wonders in that. And the women that I have met in CISUs from the Middle East, we have brilliant role models. Actually, one of them is Miss May Deshti. She's here, the Bank Al Khalij CISO and general manager. She's actually, I told her that she can be said the godmother of our security in Kuwait. So we are very proud to have such role models, and for that we can embrace the education to our lady and our new coming generation of women as well, inshallah.
Thank you. Natalia, do you have anything regarding the career planning within companies, specifically for ladies, or you think this is like same? Not sure. No.
I don't know.
If I can add one more also, we can make it also for the career planning. We can, because I have heard it a lot, and we want flexibility in the time.
Okay.
It's easy to attract them and to identify them with doing the right assessment. And they come with passion, and this is what really interests you. If you have passion, and if the ladies that join you have passion, they will do wonders. But the real challenge is to attain them, because with passion, it will come so much production, and then pressure increases, and they will be so much overwhelmed, and they will leave because they can't handle the pressure. So you need to attend to giving the flexibility of this timing and all the other conditions for females.
Just one point to add, maybe we have to present them like this is not so, well, it is complicated, but we have to explain them. Because, every human being, when doesn't understand, we have resistance, right? So we go back and we try to stay there. And I think we, women who are doing already this job, we have to do this kind of events and to explain them and to show them how many opportunities they have. They have stability and they have a better salary and they have so many opportunities in their career, and if you are looking in the near future, I think it's time to start.
Yeah, I think Natalia, she answered the third question which Mohammed asked regarding how we can encourage them. The last question that I'll take is Wadha's question. She was talking about the challenges women face if they are in the military sector, where normally men the more predominant within the sector. So anything that can be done to help reduce that discrimination when it comes to such sectors?
I don't know about military, but at least myself I faced in my office, and usually when I'm attending the national meetings of National Security Council or representative of different ministers, what I can recommend, just be the best. Just don't subestimate yourself that you are a woman and you can't do that. You just be the best, and all the time try to educate yourself and just show by example. Yes. And there's a lot of stereotypes like she's a woman, okay, she's beautiful, how she got the job. I've heard so many this kind of story. Yes. I said I'm not responsible for my face, I'm responsible for the face I make. It's my parents' fault, it's not my fault. So I think we as a woman have to concentrate on the results and not what is talking. Usually I'm going straight on the achievement rather than listening what people are thinking about.
Thank you. I think Miriam, she wanted to add something.
Yeah, so I suppose it is a big industry. There are lots of different skills that we require to solve the challenge, and it's a growing industry. So there should be room for everybody, right? And the thing is about security, it really isn't just about technology, it's about people. Everything to do with security is about people. We blame, users for user mistakes, they're people. We blame administrators for secure configurations, they're people. And actually the decision makers who are under a lot of pressure to make fast decisions, they're people. And the issues of trust and risk are very subjective and they're down to people. So they really are skills that women should be able to add a lot of value with, because a lot of this is about people, not technology.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, everyone. And we are around if you have any questions later on. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. Thank you very much.
كل الشكر للمشاركين في هذه الحلقة النقاشية تحت عنوان المرأة في مجال الأمن السيبراني. يتفضل الآن عضو اللجنة التنفيذية للمؤتمر واستشاري الأمن السيبراني بالمركز العربي الإقليمي للأمن السيبراني الدكتور نذير صفواني لتكريم كل المتحدثين حتى الآن، بداية من مدير المركز العربي لبحوث الفضاء الإلكتروني الدكتور عادل عبد الصادق. رئيس العلاقات الدولية في المركز التعاوني للدفاع السيبراني في الناتو مستر ليمار ليباك، فليتفضل مشكورا. مستشار أمن معلومات شركة BAE للأنظمة مركز التميز التعاوني للدفاع السيبراني بالناتو مس ميريام هاو.
السلام عليكم. اسمحوا لي أقدم الأخت مي دشتي تكرم البانلست معنا لو سمحتم.
التكريم القادم لرئيس فريق أمن المعلومات بشركة نفط الكويت الدكتورة ريم فرج الشمري. التكريم القادم لمدير إدارة أمن المعلومات في البنك المركزي العماني السيدة نحلة البلوشي. وأخيرا وليس آخرا مدير مركز الأمن السيبراني في مركز الاستجابة للحوادث المعلوماتية بمالدوفا مس ناتاليا سباين. كل الشكر لعضو اللجنة التنفيذية للمؤتمر واستشاري الأمن السيبراني الدكتور نذير صفاني. بريك لمدة نص ساعة وارجع أكد على التسجيل للي ما سجل إلى الآن. نلتقيكم إن شاء الله بعد نص ساعة من الآن.